There's a massive revolution in how we pay for things happening right now. But it's not being led by the names you'd probably think of. In fact, a system that only started about 9 years ago is now setting the pace for the entire world. And it all kicks off with one kind of crazy number.
So, what are we looking at here? 650 million. Just let that sink in for a second. It's not the population of a continent, and it's not some blockbuster movie budget. Nope, it's a number that resets every single day.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking 650 million transactions happening every day. That is an almost unbelievable amount of economic activity. But the really mind-blowing part? It's who's behind it all. Get this. India's Unified Payments Interface, UPI, is now processing more daily transactions than the global giant Visa. It just goes to show you how a public, low-cost utility that was built for everyone can actually outpace a private, for-profit model. It's become the world's #1 real-time payment system, a feat that former Niti Aayog's CEO, Amitabh Kant, called completely unmatched. So how on earth did this happen? Well, to really get UPI's explosive growth, we have to rewind the clock to 2016 and take a look at the huge problem it was designed to fix, an economy that was basically drowning in cash. Before UPI, India's payment scene was, well, a mess. It was fragmented and just plain inefficient. The economy was overwhelmingly cash-based, and all the different digital wallets and banking apps, they couldn't talk to each other. Merchants hated accepting cards because of the high fees, and a lot of people were just scared of digital fraud. The whole system was full of friction.
So the answer wasn't just another app or another digital wallet. It was something much more fundamental. They needed to build a whole new set of public highways for money to travel on.
And that is exactly what UPI is. It's a public utility, a foundational layer for India's entire digital economy. It lets you link any bank account to a mobile app so you can make instant 24/7 transfers. Think of it less like a product and more like a shared, universal language that all those different payment apps can finally speak.
And this new system went right after all those old problems, one by one. First off, UPI is totally interoperable. It doesn't matter if you use Google Pay and your friend uses Paytm, the money just moves. It's also practically free for users and merchants, which completely solved that high fee problem. And the simplicity of just scanning a QR code, it made it accessible to absolutely everyone. Okay, so did it actually work? Well, the numbers are just staggering. Let's dig into the real-world impact. All right, here's another wild figure for you, 106x. Now, this isn't about the number of transactions, but it represents something just as important for a booming economy. This is all about the growth in the number of places you can actually use digital payments. Back in 2016, there were maybe 2.5 million places you could pay with a card. But by 2023, thanks to those simple little QR codes, there were over 256 million merchant touchpoints. That is a 106-fold increase. Just wow. And as you'd probably guessed, that explosion in places to pay led to an explosion in, well, paying. Just look at this chart. Total digital transactions in India went from 10 billion in the year UPI launched to 114 billion just 6 years later. That's more than an 11 times jump. And UPI isn't just part of this growth story. It is the growth story. To put its dominance in perspective, it is now the engine behind almost 84% of all digital transactions in the country. It didn't just join the market, it basically created a whole new one.
Okay, so this massive shift has created an entirely new ecosystem. The big questions now are, who's actually winning in this new world order, and where does UPI go from here?
The winners here aren't just the big apps on your phone like Paytm. It's a whole economic food chain. You've got payment gateways, which are kind of like the digital toll booths that process all the transactions. There are specialized banks that handle the massive flow of money, and you even have the tech companies in the background that power all the secure login codes and alerts that keep the whole system safe and sound.
And believe me, this thing is far from done growing. As the CEO of NPST points out, the future is about moving way beyond just simple person-to-person payments. We're talking about embedding credit right into UPI, making huge business-to-business transactions happen, and even enabling payments from your smart devices. I mean, imagine your car paying for its own fuel. That's where we're going.
And here's the real kicker. UPI's ambitions are no longer just domestic. This system is going global. What started in India back in 2016 is now accepted in 7 different countries, and the plan is to expand that footprint big time in the next few years. They're turning a national solution into an international one.
This captures the mission perfectly, doesn't it? What started as a solution for India is quickly becoming a model for the entire world. Just like Amitabh Khan said, UPI is leading the digital payment revolution, and it's doing it on a global scale.
And that leaves us with one last fascinating question to chew on. For the last 50 years, we've watched private companies like Visa and MasterCard build the world's payment rails. But what UPI has shown is that a public, open, and super low-cost infrastructure can achieve even greater scale, even faster. So the real question is, are we watching the blueprint for how the rest of the world is going to pay in the future?